Alright, I thought I recorded this when I did the live stream locally, but apparently I didn't. I forgot to do that. I do apologize for any that was tuned in on the Twitch. So, basically, going to go through this real quick here when it comes right down to it. Anything that there is inside this game is all matter of luck and matter of also how you set up your character. In this particular case, I have two characters that I have created and been working on. One on server 1, one on server 665. As you can see, they're completely different on power and on the balance of attack versus survival. The one on the right with server 1 is a lot higher up on her peak and is very low on the survivability. So one of the things that tends to happen is it tends to get killed doing just basic boss killing. As you can see here, I've died a couple times here as it is already, and it's just one of those things that does happen. Is you gotta do everything you can to raise the power of that character up so you can not get killed on a regular basis. And part of the problem is this server 1, is the oldest one in the game here. So as a result of it, I'm getting full XP boost, and I jumped too soon when I should have stayed behind and powered up before I took the class change. So when you're on your older server, you got to make sure that you're doing a class change, but you also got to make sure you're powering up to a certain level so that when you do the class change, you're not getting killed instantly by the bosses, but yet at the same time not getting killed by these junk monsters that you're be out killing. So that's one of the things to just keep in mind. And everything that you have, like with the wings, when you got things for the wings, they level up and power up differently. Like for one character, it might give 200 to 500 power, but on the other character, it might give 3,000 to 5,000. So each of the wings and such will affect it differently, and that's something to take in consideration. The gear is a huge aspect of how I would be going about powering up my character on the right. For example, I mean, I got these. I got a purple bracelet. My focus would be trying to get a gold bracelet, which you can only get from the hunts, and then getting this 1 star up to a 2 star so that I can take it to the next level when it comes down to it. As well as getting it leveled up, because you don't get bracelets and rings as a level 20, level 19. You have to power it up through some of the different things you get through the hunts. So that's one of the things that, as I say about points from the hunts, if I don't get lucky enough to get them, that's what I'll be doing, is buying the upgrade stuff for those accordingly. One of the biggest things, the other big things that you got to be in consideration of is what you're focused on with your characters. You can see one character has a pink weapon, the other one is a 3-star red weapon. And the pink weapon obviously is going to be a lot better. It's going to give a lot more bonuses and powers when it comes right down to it. But that's not the main critical item in the end. Let's see if this character... See, one of the things I focus on when it comes down to like the gear and the left side. The left side is the one side that you can... Well, the left side and the weapon is the items that you can control what stats it gets and is given. And you can, as you make it's random. As you... dismantle a pink item and rebuild and collect the 3 red stars that's going to come out of dismantling a pink gear. It's going to give you different stats. So if I had enough for pink on this character on the right, I would be working on swapping out until it looks something similar to this character over here, where it has firm, dodge plus, and damage deck. Anytime when you got the gear in the left, if you happen to notice that you got a gear that is missing the damage deck. This is probably the most critical item as far as giving power. In some cases, it will give a few million points per item that you have that's missing this damage deck. So you could be a level 40 going against another person who is, or not a level 40, but you can go against something that someone's got 40 million power and be fighting someone's got 35 million power. And if you're missing the damage deck, but they have it, there's a good chance that you can get beat by that person with the full set of damage deck stuff. So that's one of the things when it comes back down to the gear. That's what I'd be focusing on trying to get. My personal preference, and I'm not an expert in any way. I don't consider myself an expert. I just been playing this game long enough. I figured out a lot of stuff with it. I've asked around. I've learned some stuff with it, and I found stuff that works for my particular play style that I have. So I'm trying to figure out what's going to help me to enjoy the game more, so I can enjoy it, and then help pass that information on to people that I know that I've become friends with. So I'll be working on replacing a lot of this gear. Some of it is not too bad. Defense and firm is not a bad setup. It's not necessarily what I call the optimal setup for me, anyways. I like to go with damage deck, firm, and dodge. You see, all my gear here has those stats: firm, damage deck, dodge. It's in different orders. The order does not matter. It's all going to be the same stat anywhere, any order it's in. So you don't have to worry about saying, all right, it's got to be damage deck at the top, firm. No, it's as long as it's there. So, like in this case here, I have at least 2 pieces of gear, maybe 3. Yeah, well, pretty much all 5 on the left side here. I would be looking at replacing with something that's a little bit better in the stats that I like to get, which is the damage deck, firm, and dodge. Because in a lot of cases, I find, like here with the HP boost is nice, but for defense capability, it's just HP. It's just hit points. That's all it is. It's nothing all that critical that's going to make me live or die longer. It's just going to, for someone that's hitting hard, they're going to take me down faster than if I had firm or dodge in place of that HP stat. And let's go here into the smelt. The smelt is one of those things that you'll find is a critical item in any setup, any build. Anytime you level up, you'll find yourself wanting to come in here to the smelt and upgrade your stuff as you come. My focus that I have is I tend to, like here you see my weapon is upgraded. I invest heavily in the weapon side of stuff on this character, and I probably need to start focusing more on the defense side, so I want to do that right now. In fact, try and get my defense up so that I can actually survive through stuff, because if I do the weekly league quest or I do the bounty quest, I tend to die a couple times during it on this character on the right. The left side has no problems whatsoever. But if I was to give any advice, you don't necessarily need to buy the 2 million via diamonds that you can get there in the game. It's not necessary, for one. I mean, you see, like here in this particular character, I have all of that maxed out at this point, and I still have 470 million gold waiting for the next set of gear as soon as it comes up. So I don't have to necessarily buy any gold, and I never really did. Even early on, I spent most of my money that I did on anything like that, any diamonds that I did, I spent on other stuff to upgrade my characters with. So that'd be my recommendation. Just go through when you come to a class change or a CC. Make sure you upgrade your forge here to the limit for that particular gear. That way, when you go to the next gear, it's not going to be like you're 300, 400, 500 points behind. And if you want to know, like once you get something maxed out, you can see, like here it's 850. So most of these is just 50 points behind, but at one point, this character used to be 300, 400 points behind on what the max is. And every item has different stuff. You see this one here's got 855, and it's still not maxed out. This one is maxed out at 250, this one 175. And that's because of the level. So the higher the level, the higher these can go here with the smelt. Enchant is another item. This is kind of the same thing, you know. I'll focus on a lot of stuff, trying to get some things going on. But my routine of things when I do things is attack, hit, crit, pierce. And on the attack side of things, on the defense side, I try and go with resilience, dodge, or defense. Either one. Either one's just as good as the other, in my opinion. Defense will get a little more bonuses in a lot of cases. HP is last. I don't like to have HP where I can help it. And both of these characters have a lot in enchantment, so I have all of them maxed out as a result of that. And I can go through here, and if I see something that I don't like, like I could actually sit here and try and force this one into something a lot better, as I say, you know what, I don't like this, I want to get something better. You know, I don't want the HP stat, let's go ahead and keep going until I find something like all reds. Okay, I'll keep that, even though it's got the HP boost in there. It's not bad, it's not the greatest. I would probably rather have firm in there, to be honest. I might come back and tweak on that later on. But a lot of it is just going to be trying to figure out what's the best setup for this character, what's going to give her a little more survivability in the end. And you got this option here that you can go and try and get these super fine enchantings that you add to it. I don't think it's necessary, but it isn't all that bad of an option either. You know, so that's one of those things when it comes right down to it. You figure out, it's like, okay, maybe I'll keep going and use this up because, you know, I'm going to build up another high round of things, and it's not going to matter in the end. And by the time I get to 21s on this character, I'll probably more than likely have built up these 25,000 points that I may have used trying to get these stats the way I want them to get. And this is one of the ways that you can kind of manipulate stuff a little bit, as in a way. As you can see here, I mean, this is 2632 to 2921. So I could try and force the attack into a 2921 stat and keep that. Obviously the 168 here is the top of that level. So that's a range of how high that can get. So you might be in a red and it might be 2632, which is the lower end. But if you try tweaking it a little more, you can get a little bit higher, depending on your patience or how much of the enchanting stones you have. Anima cast here, both of these characters are pretty good when it comes right down to it. See 9s and 10s here as a whole. And, you know, I'll focus, same thing here, I'll focus on the jewelry and on the weapon most of the time. When I start leveling up and start doing stuff more here, I'll probably switch over to hitting some defense stuff on a more regular basis just to power that up and give it the defense that it needs. Each of these items here, you know, you're going to want to unlock these so you can open up. I'm not too worried about this character. It doesn't have a whole lot that's sitting in stock, but this one here does have quite a bit. But as you can see, I've worked on opening it up almost all the way. There's just a few that's left that's not there yet. And, you know, I'll do it, I won't just do it line by line. I'll do it based upon what I have waiting in storage. So if I have, like here, I got the eye here that's ready. If I have an eye that's ready to, that's there, and none of these that's waiting to be open, we'll take an eye. So that means I'm not going to take my next 1,500 points that I get and open up one because it's none of them is an eye. But there might be, I might have a core in here, I might have glass. I think I saw glass in there somewhere. Yeah, there. So I might open up this one here next to try and get it ready. This character here, I got some that might be ready that I can use. I got glass, I got veins. These ones here, they all take the anime jades to upgrade, which is a lot easier to get rather than the 1500. In a lot of cases, what's down here at the bottom, you can typically find like here, it's 300 to open that up. It's not a bad price. It goes up as you unlock stuff. Like anything else is, if you unlock stuff, it goes up in cost. So just keep that in mind. Gems. Go over here to gems. Gems is not one of those things that you can necessarily say, all right, I'm going to focus on XYZ and just level it up. I kind of keep it all roundabout. I kind of got down to the point here that this one here has every single one of them, except for this one here is less than half, ready to be at 6 and going on 7. So that, I got a couple 5s here that I'll be working on. It takes a while at this point, but you just focus on whatever you got. Like this one here is halfway there, but I'll just go down the line with the gems. I won't necessarily try and force it into a certain one because it doesn't really matter. The gems is all, it gives the same boost along the line. So just go with the lowest one. If you always give a recommendation, find the lowest one of what you got and power that up. So if this was a 3, I'd be making that a 4. Same thing here. If there's a 4 down here, I'd be working on making it into a 5. And I just go down the line until they're all done. Come back to the very first one and start right down the line again, all over, in the same way and trick. This set is critical. For those who's wondering what the sets do, what they are, show here, it's a combination of, like here for the deity, is a combination of ghost stones and the deity stones. You can get those from the solo bosses, you can get some of those from the world bosses, but the main farming spot that I have for either one of those is nethers. I'll hit nethers as often as I can on a character, farming up these deity and ghost stones, trying to figure out how to get up there. This character I haven't hit so heavily. As you can see here, I haven't got a deity on any of the stuff. This character is all deity when it comes down to it. One thing I will say about the deity for the gear, there's before I go further, there's deity for the gear and deity for the jewelry. Jewelry and gear are 2 separate types of ghosts and deities, so don't worry about having to combine them into one or anything else like that, or make sure that they're all the same level. It doesn't matter on those. Those are their own entities as a whole. But the gear deity, when this character here on the left is ready to go from 19s to 20s, I won't swap to 20s until I have enough to replace all of my gear with 20s. That means each of these gods, I gotta have 3 red 3 stars before I'm ready to take it from a 19 to a 20 level gear. I won't do a 2-piece because, as you can see, I got 2 items here that's red star 3 stars. I can swap those out for a 20 red 3 star, or I just be patient and I work and farm until I have enough gear to replace all of them in one motion, which is how I prefer. That's my personal preference. If I didn't have a full set like this, like if I had a 2-piece or a 4-piece set, I might look at considering making a 2-piece of another level. So if I have a 6 and a 7 set of gear, I would make I would have 4 6 sets. Look, 4 6 level gears that I would have part of the ghost or deity, and I would have the 2 7 as a ghost. I won't do that with DT. Once I go to DT, I will. It's all or nothing, as far as that's concerned in my plate. That's my preference. Some other people might have a different story that they want to go with, but I notice that I lose a lot of power if I try and divide up. Lesson to be learned. The one thing I did figure out is, like, accidentally at first with the DT on the jewelry, you can't break down a jewelry once it's been taken to DT or ghost, as far as I'm aware anyway. So it might be something that I'm missing, but anytime I try and unequip them, it doesn't let me unequip them. I mean, I try real quick. I mean, because what I'd like to do is break it down from the DT and put it back to a ghost so that I can get those ghost stones back, or the DT back, and get that 2-piece set. Fortunately, with this being an orange, I was able to get it to a ghost, so I got the 2-piece ghost set. Ghost and DT work in pairs, so that's the biggest thing to remember on this. So if you have a 3-piece ghost set in level 7 and a 3-piece ghost in a level 8, you're doing yourself no good. Drop one of the 7 or the 8 and make it the other one so that you can get that 2 or 4-piece set if you're waiting for a 6-piece. Don't mix a 3 and a 3 or a 1 and 5. That's just make sure you do everything in here in pairs, because that odd number doesn't give you a boost, doesn't give you an advantage. It's an odd number, because you notice except for with jewelry, it is, you got jewelry hit us a 1-piece set at least, so you get 1-piece, 2-piece, and 4-piece on jewelry. But on the other gear, 2, 4, 6, you don't get a 1, 2, 4, 3, 4, 5, 6 option. It's 2, 4, 6. So don't try and mix DT levels in with an odd setup. If you're in the middle of upgrading your set, you're gonna lose power on this as you do that. So it's better to stick with a lower item than it is to go with that 1 piece that you upgrade to a higher item while you wait for the rest of the stuff to come in. Wait a little longer, be a little more patient, and you'll be rewarded with it, because it'll give you a power boost rather than a power decrease. I know people have spoken about how they lost power because they did a partial upgrade, and then they asked what happened, and that's what happened. They upgraded, they went to deity, and they forgot to upgrade in odd numbers. So always upgrade in odd number and even numbers when it comes down to it, within everything here. Saint seals, there's no right or wrong answer. Once again, this is all matter of what you want to do and what you want to focus on, and how lucky you get on getting stuff. Like, I probably wouldn't have had these 4 items here that was at a pink level if I hadn't got lucky enough, or haven't been keeping an eye on the black market when people were selling them, to buy and get enough to make 4 items myself. The wings is the only item that you will never be able to make right now, unless they change things in the future. It is either orange or pink. Your enhancement, with the enhancement, that's the same thing when it comes right down to it. I focus on the attack stuff at the end, because that's what I like to focus on. Some of my like this character here is it's not far off. It's not too bad off when it comes down to it, but I try and keep him balanced when it comes down to it with it, because it's not like it's giving you a huge bonus or increase or anything else like that. Going to soul cats. This is the area that I had people asking most questions about. Ignore the ruins in the middle here on the left here. Malice Power and Malice Energy. Those two ruins, when it comes right down to it, those are from special events that you have to be lucky to get. If you want to spend the money to get those, or you want to sell enough stuff to get those, good on you. Don't make it your focus and life or death type thing if you get it or don't get it. If you get it, great. If you don't get it, don't worry. It's not going to end your life. It's going to give you power, yes, but it's not going to ultimately end what you have going for you. You notice with this character on the right, I have a lot of pinks, but I also have a lot of reds here waiting. In some situations, I don't have enough reds to get a 3-star or a triple, so I, like here in the defense here, let's find where defense here is defense triple purple. And a triple purple will you get a lot more, you get a little bit more bonus out of the triple purple than you do out of a double red. Sure, the defense and the defense boost is increased as a whole, but you don't get that damage deck boost that would be there otherwise. And for damage deck, that's a huge boost in power. And anytime I can get that over not having it, I like to try and do it when I can. The character on the left, I probably could have had some oranges and purples by now, but I pretty much just melt those all down. My personal preference, once again, you don't have to necessarily do that. You can keep all of them. Like, I started keeping them on this character here to see if I can get them and use that instead of what I currently have. If you can't make a double or a purple, it's probably because your trial tower is not high enough, or you don't have enough extraction stones to make it. So the biggest thing to do is do the trial tower. You know, you can get extraction stones from that. Log in on a daily basis. Even if all you do is log in, collect stuff from the dungeon here for the trial tower. You know, right here, you got this collection here. You know, that's the biggest thing you want to make sure you're getting each day, because it'll give you a good amount from that alone. So log in, collect that if that's the only thing you do each day, if you got stuff going on in the daytime. So don't try and worry and push yourself to log on and do a whole bunch of stuff and try and sell, because you'll get there in time. You know, I mean, you know, even this character is not as strong. It does have a triple attack red, and you know, I can start looking at starting it up when I get attack ruins enough, which is, once again, it's all luck. It's not like there's not a formula to say, all right, I'm going to do this and I want to get this. And some sales that you can get some of the ruins in red. Some of the hunts have red ruins, but it's a random red ruin. So there's no guarantee that you can get a red attack, a red hit, a red pierce, a red defense, whatever. It's all luck with this game when it comes right down to it. And that's the biggest thing right there. I mean, focusing on that stuff right there, that'll get any character the right amount of things. You might find yourself getting more power as a result of dropping from a single red to a double orange, or to a double purple, or a triple purple. You're going to get more power out of that than if you had a single. So, you know, if I had this one as a single red, I would lose a lot of power here in this HP triple, because I would lose the HP boost, I would lose the damage deck. And those are huge when it comes right down to it. You might not see it, you might think, oh, red is the top line, I should be getting there. Yes, you should get there, but don't get there ahead of when you lose power because you're trying to get there too fast. When it comes right down to it, you got the Darkfire, Cleric, Water Gel, and the Forgotten Lord here. It's all luck. Don't try and make it a life or death situation. It's going to be a matter of just getting there. You'll eventually will get what you need to make it happen, and it takes time. It really does. It's one of those things that you have to just keep focusing on until you get it, and once you do get it, you understand it, and you'll be able to go to the next level in those. One of the other things I wanted to show here. Let's go to the Myth Beast here. This is a huge difference in what's going on here. You can see the one on the left here has got a bunch of pinks. I got more pinks than some other beasts that I've got activated. But the big thing I want to point out here is superb stats. That is your biggest deciding factor of how your build is going to actually come out to be. So like if I wanted to focus a little more on a defensive setup, let's go for an example here. Let's go ahead and place this with the best stuff. Since this one's got the damage deck stuff, dodge, and defense, I'm going to take this, I'm going to unequip this guy here, because this one's all attack, damage plus, pierce, crit. So I'm going to go here, and then I'm going to go to the next one up, which is another defense one. And then I'm going to go up another one above that. And so now each of my myth creatures on this character here is all defense based. So now I can look at saying, all right, how well do I do on that setup? Am I going to survive any better? Am I going to do any worse? You know, what's the situation? What's the story here? And I'm using the HP. You know, I'm just kind of curious. Let's see how that did overall. Yeah, not bad. I'm still right around this 300 million mark that I started off with in the first place. But I got a lot more damage deck. So I'll see the bar is dropping a little bit. Still dropping. Still needs some improvement. So that's one of the things that I got a feather in my hat for that, to be able to say, all right, you know, I got to tweak this character even more now. It's still not there, but maybe it's doing a little bit better. Maybe I'm living a little bit longer. And I won't know that until I do like a bounty quest and see how long it lasts as a result of that change that I did. Maybe it's going to die in the same amount of time, which could very well be a possibility, a real possibility here. The other thing I can do here, if I want to really try, is to equip the damage redux here and see if that helps to keep me in line. And that's something to take into consideration when you're doing some things. Maybe you only use the HP one when you're offline. Like you notice this one here. Now that instead of losing hit points, I'm actually gaining hit points rather than losing it. So I'm able to actually sit there and take the fight. Whereas before I couldn't even do that. So it gives me an idea of say, okay, I get out to about 300 million on the survival, and I'll be fine and dandy on this character here to do the dailies on a regular basis without any consequence, any fear. So that's something I can look at worrying about, trying to figure out, okay, how can I increase my defense to make it happen? One other item when it comes right down to it, let me get into it back in the assist. We've got the Star Pulse. This is only something if you're level 430 or above, so if you're not 430, you don't have to worry about this yet. Something coming down the line that you can be aware of. But it's just another way, once again, it's just another way to power up. One thing to remember with the Star Pulse here is you get it from Myth bosses, you get it from the top level Dominion bosses and the top level Nether bosses that you can attack at your level that you're at with 430. So all three of those will give you stuff. So when you get your choice option of a fatigue potion for boss or myth, I would go with the myth ones myself, as if I'm working on leveling up these ones in particular. And as you can, I already know here, I got a couple here I can look at merging, getting a couple things a little bit better, trying to figure out the optimal setup so that I can work efficiently on this, and maybe that'll help me out a little bit here and there. And I got probably a couple here that I can take into red as a result of things. And that's the nice thing about these is I can pick and choose. Like right there, I got this one that I can come here, withdraw, and this one here I can withdraw. And then come over here to merge. And go to red. There we go. You know, now I can come back here and I can say, all right, now I'm going to equip this one here, this one here. Remember, I was 308 before I started. I'm still 308 now. You know, it increases a little bit, but at least I can have those ready and I can gain the power that goes along with them. And you know, I'll do things like that. I'll figure out like what's a quick little fix that I can drop something here in the start pulse and change out so that I can be ready for the next thing. And sometimes it's just as quick as that. I won't unequip and leave a blank spot. I'd rather have a purple or a blue in a spot than a blank spot when I can help it. You can see here, this one here's got a raw gemstone which comes from a hunt. So matter of luck. It's just that character got lucky enough and got one from a gathering event of collecting keys, and I got the gemstone from that. It didn't cost me anything. I just collected a bunch of keys and turned it in. And if you want advice on how to get the best chance out of the hunts, save up for the 45 keys. Best thing I can say is save up for the 45 keys, and then once you get it open up, that's when you can look at doing it. If you're on if you happen to join an older server and you're a low power person, you're going to get a bunch of keys. Like here, this character here has 600 keys ready to use for the Pro Trace, which is a level above where she is right now. And she also has star marks that's ready to be used. So I'll keep collecting those keys until I'm able to use them, and then all of a sudden I'll wait for the right event. I won't just do it as soon as I get it, and I won't do it all at once either. So there's some events that will reset the luck on all the hunts at once, and I'll sit there with those keys once I'm ready to use it, and I'll use the 45 batch, and I'll use it until I win or until someone else wins. Wait until it resets. Try it again and keep going until I get all my keys used, and with some luck I'll come out with a few top level rewards as a result and gain some massive powers from that alone. That's my hope anyways. You know, I mean, you get these hunts here, and you know, if you can't get it, you can buy it, and sometimes you just gotta be patient on it. It'll take a while to do it, but you can do it. It's not impossible, it's possible. You just gotta be patient and be willing to do everything so that you can get what you want. So that's one of the things to consider about and to look at when it comes down to it. As far as things is concerned, if you got any other questions, any other things you'd like to learn more about, that you're working on currently, feel free to post a comment here, and I'll help you out through comments where I can, or making a video. Hopefully this video is helpful for some people who's had questions about how to set up the gear, how to level up and power up, and what to focus on and what to look for that's going to help you to know what you can do to be better. I will say this, on the character on the left, I've been able to kill people that had more hit points than me, and there's been people that's had less hit points than me that's been able to kill me as well. So it's a flip story when it comes right down to it. The more you focus on certain things, the better off you'll be in the long run. Hit points is not the cure-all. It makes it last longer, but it's not going to be like a defense or attack. You can have a weak attack and a high defense and still die because you can't kill anything else. So you want to focus on keeping both of them, in my opinion, both of them rounded pretty close to the same. Although this character here on the left, you know, it's 70 million ahead of the survival, Just because I've been trying to focus that one more on a PvP round of things, trying to get things killed faster, killing people faster, and stuff like that. That's been the focus on that character. This character on the red here, I care more about it surviving stuff than I do about it killing people, because most of the people on this server is so far ahead of me in power that it is insane. I mean, I'm 300 million here in this character, but there's people on my server here that's 10 billion, and another person that is higher than him. Fortunately, that we're in the same faction, but it doesn't. It's one of those things when it comes right down to it. I don't try and make this to kill people. I try and make it so I can survive the bosses. Manner, for example, is a huge disadvantage at first, because the bosses was killing me in manner. They were killing me in top bars. Any of the other main events, I just couldn't kill them. It was just like taking a stick against a tank. You know, it's just sitting there, like getting slapped, and then it turns and shoots, and you're dead. So if you got an ideal that you're gonna come onto like an older server, you're brand new at the game, and you're gonna get powered up, just remember that a while as you're on there, you're going to be at a huge disadvantage. I don't recommend it. Your best recommendation is go to one of the newer servers and join a new server, so that you are a lot more competitively advantaged against not just the bosses, but against the other people in that server as well. If you got any questions, you want to hit me up. You're in game. I'm 665 server 1. I also have a new character that started on 1171. If you want to come join me on any one of those, feel free. Ask. You can ask me. I go by Ocean Ebony on 665 and S1, and then on 1171 I have a guy named there Airbow. So there's that. If you have any questions, anything that you need to figure out, just feel free to hit me up on the YouTube, hit me up in game, whatever matters, whatever works best for you. You know, that's just it. But anyways, have a great day, guys. Hope you enjoyed this video. Hope it helps out, and happy raiding.